Welcome to the Financial Aid Hangout. We are joined by two of the best financial aid personnel here on campus, and we'll get their introductions here in a second. We are here to talk about your award letter, and we don't want it to be confusing. We want you guys to understand it, so we are just going to break down our award letter, how it works, and we're going to answer all your questions at the same time. Before we get into it, you can jump out on to Twitter at Findlay using the hashtag AskUF, or you can just jump into the chat box and ask your questions. So welcome, gentlemen. Go ahead and introduce yourselves for us.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ed Recker. I'm the Director of Financial Aid here at the University of Findlay.
Yeah, my name is Joe Spencer. I'm the Associate Director of Financial Aid here at Findlay.
All right, guys. So let's get into it. Let's talk about award letters. Have they gone out yet? Do students have them?
Yes, students should definitely have them. We started sending out our initial award letters probably the last week in February. At this point, it's maybe about a week lag time from when you complete the FAFSA until you should be getting your award letter, as long as you've been accepted to the university. So if you're accepted to the University of Findlay, you've completed the FAFSA, it's been about a week, maybe a week and a half, you should have an award letter in your hand. So if you don't, please contact us to really see what the holdup is. It might be a small glitch in the system, might be the Department of Ed's a little slow in the uptake in terms of processing, but if you contact us, we can definitely do some troubleshooting if you haven't received it yet.
What are some of the big questions you get about the award letter?
I think probably the biggest questions we receive is just kind of cutting through some of the red tape and the confusion, letting folks know what they actually, what the bottom line is, what they'll pay for this year, what some of their options are if they have a gap. Those are really the biggest questions. Quite honestly, some of the biggest questions we get are not so much about ours, but about other schools' award letters. We're actually pretty proud of ours. We'd like to think that it's relatively easy to read and digest. So yeah, it's really mostly about other folks' award letters as opposed to ours.
Is the award letter like the final thing? Does it actually seal the deal for the student?
We hope so. We absolutely hope so. We definitely put our best foot forward here at the University of Findlay. So not a lot of negotiating. A lot of schools kind of use it as like we want you to contact us to see if maybe this is our best offer, maybe this isn't. At the University of Findlay, we really don't like to do things like that. We really want to put our best foot forward and make sure that you have the most up-to-date information in your hands so that you can make an informed decision when it comes to the finances and choosing a college.
Can a student's award letter change before they get to campus?
Yeah, I would say it can. Largely, if you decide to change your program. Also, there are other things like if you're selected by the Department of Education for a process called verification, and we're required to review your FAFSA, we may be required to make some changes that will ultimately change that number, that expected family contribution number that you may have originally received. In that case, once we get a new EFC, we would then go ahead and reevaluate the financial aid package to make sure you're receiving the proper amounts of institutional and federal aid.
One other thing that might change it is if you initially thought that you were going to live on campus and then decide later on, I kind of want to commute instead, as long as you live within the commuting radius of the campus, or vice versa. That can also change your award if you're awarded any type of institutional need-based grants or a UF institutional grant. If you choose to change your housing status, that could potentially impact that grant.
All right, let's get into the award letter. Let's really look at it and break it down. So I'm going to flip over here. I'm going to share this screen, and then if you guys want to go down the award letter.
Sure. You'll notice that there are 3 different sections on our financial aid award letter. The first section, really the best part, is the total grant and scholarship aid. So what you'll see here is if you're eligible for any state and federal grants, you'll see your institutional scholarship as well as any institutional grant money that you may be eligible to receive. Then we follow up with information regarding the federal loans. So usually, when we're having these types of conversations, it's with first-time dependent freshmen. So you should see about $5,500 in the federal direct loans. Some might be subsidized and some might be unsubsidized. And really the biggest question we get when it comes to our award letter might be, in regards to what's the difference? So really the subsidized loan is where the federal government pays the interest while the student's in school. So basically it's similar to a 0% interest rate while the student's in school. The unsubsidized loan has interest that accrues as soon as we make a disbursement. And so the idea is that when you borrow that loan funding, the interest will be accruing on that amount, but you will not be required to make a payment. So here's a quick example. If you borrow $1,000 of subsidized loans as a freshman, when you graduate as a senior, you're paying back a $1,000 loan. With the unsubsidized, if you borrow $1,000 as a freshman, by the time you graduate as a senior, the balance might be $1,250 because the interest is adding on to the principal. But that $5,500 and the grants and scholarship amount that we just talked about in box 1, all of that information flows into the final box, which is what am I going to pay this year? So what we do is we provide a subtotal. The very first one is basically the total expected tuition and fees and housing and meal plans. The next thing we do is take off grants and scholarships. So that subtotal after grants and scholarships is really your net price. That's going to be your apples to apples comparison that you want to make sure you're checking against other schools' financial aid award letters. Then finally, we remove the student loans, and then the estimated balance remaining, well, that can be basically taken care of by setting up a payment plan with the business office, having a parent secure a Parent Plus loan, or anyone that is creditworthy could go ahead and take out a private loan. We could also do any combination of those, and we would be willing to talk in more detail if you have questions about those individual processes.
Probably the other question that we get about award letters oftentimes is regarding the loans and do I have to take them out? And the answer is absolutely not. Those are just guaranteed loan funds, especially the federal direct subsidized and or unsubsidized loans. Those are loans that are afforded to you. You do not have to take them out. So if you choose to look at that, what will I pay for this year line and say that's an acceptable dollar amount, we don't need to take out the loans, then you don't need to take out the loans. You just need to log on to your My Findlay student portal and make sure you decline those before August 1st. If it's after August 1st, we will initiate the loan. It still won't disperse without your okay, but then it would take you either calling the office, stopping in the office, or emailing the office so that we can cancel those loans on your behalf.
So when these award letters hit, you guys hear from parents or do you guys hear from students?
I would say we hear from both. We definitely hear from both. We want to make sure that everybody's on the same page when it comes to the cost of college. That's really our worst case scenario, is that if someone thinks one thing and the reality is very different. So oftentimes we do get calls or emails just for points of clarification or to see what other options are out there if a student's looking for additional funding.
All right. Any final thoughts on the award letter? Any final words of advice for any students out there?
One thing I would recommend to all families is, and Joe alluded to it when he had mentioned our "What will I pay for this year" line on our award letter. That's kind of the apples to apples number that folks should really pay attention to. And sometimes it's very difficult to get to that number on other schools' award letters. You know, we very much believe in transparency and being very open about what our net price is. Other schools, it's not that they aren't, it's just it may take a little more digging in order to get to that number. If you ever have any questions, or if something just seems too good to be true regarding either our award letter or even another school's award letter, we always encourage folks to contact us. One of the services that we provide is that we do try to do an apples to apples comparison if there is a disconnect there. If there is a case where it's like, wow, school X is quite significantly less than school Y, is that accurate? We're happy to do that for you, because one of the things we feel very strongly about is a student making an informed decision and making sure that the University of Findlay is a good fit for them. And that means everything from program to activities to finances. We want to make sure that this is appropriate, that this is a good fit for you, and we want you to make an informed decision about that.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. You know, like they said, if you have any questions about your award letter, financial aid all around, please get a hold of our financial aid office. Great. Thank you guys.